Hello, Weebs and Normies. Welcome to the Anime Club. I'm Graham.
And I'm George.
All right, we have our little Rudy boy has been taken away, George. Where do you think he's going?
Boy. He's going to the land of the cat people to do more cat debauchery. That's my prediction.
So this anime became incredibly based. All right. This cat lady is not exactly my type, but...
whoa, there's limits to your cat enjoyment. Oh man, you're saying she's too humanoid? That's right, I knew it. I knew it, Graham.
Yeah, Itsutsumi is more of my speed, bro.
I have no idea what that is, but oh wait, from Dungeon Meshi, yes.
Dungeon Meshi. Okay, all right. Yeah, no, she's a lot. She's a whole lot. She's just a whole thing. And it's a little much for me, despite the, the nice accents that she has to her physical appearance. She's just a bit much for me. Sure. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the woman parts that are too much for you, but not the cat parts. Okay. All right.
All right.
I understand, bro.
Yeah. So he's going off somewhere with a cat woman. And what do you think? What kind of place is this? Is this we talked a little bit about this last time. Is this the part-time job stuff, or is this like a school of some sort, like a warrior school?
She looks pretty ripped, so it's probably like warrior stuff, I think. Okay. It's gonna like finish his warrior training.
The parents, right?
Yeah, especially what's his face, Paul. So yeah, like I'm thinking she's a warrior of sorts. Like maybe it's like a warrior village that she's gonna take him to, or maybe she's just like a freelance mercenary, and he's gonna like tag along at whatever.
Well, they were adventurers once upon a time, right? So maybe they were all in the same party.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. I'm sure. Maybe she's a little much for you, but I'm sure she won't be a little much for freaking 34-year-old Rudy. So let's see what happens.
No doubt. Though we have seen really big indications of Rudy's taste so far. So yeah, well,
true. There is that as well.
Yeah.
Oh man, this show.
All right.
It is cursed,
what levels of debauchery are we gonna see today, George?
Yes. Let's just start, I guess.
Oh boy.
Bro, she is volatile. Oh.
It's literally both.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, yeah, what? What? 5 years?
Oh,
bro, you're married, man. What?
Send that letter to Zenith.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I guess.
Copium.
Yeah. Or like just say goodbye. Like send a letter goodbye. Not just like I disappeared.
Let's go. Wow. A wonderful place.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Oh wow. Grey Rat?
Yeah. Paul's cousin. Okay. They're related. Yeah, he's like his uncle-ish. Oh. Jeez. Wait, did he slap her or was that a tap? Oh, okay. Let's go.
Jeez. Holy frick. She's nuts.
Bro, this chick needs to calm down, man. Oh. Bro. Dude, use your magic, man. Yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Dude. Tags of a delinquent manga?
Yikes.
Bro, the dad's enabling her? Come on, man.
Oh boy. He does acknowledge it to a degree.
Yeah, but it's one thing to acknowledge it, another thing to, like, discipline her. What's up with this guy? That was an odd look from that one dude.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't trust him now. What? Okay, this is part of the act. I see.
Oh.
Nice choice.
I'm starting to think it might not be an act. Oh! Jeez.
Oh boy. Oh.
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 Bro, what? He still thinks it's an act.
Holy frick.
Jeez. Yeah, what?
Oh.
Oh, bro. Her teeth are like...
I don't know if now's the time, but...
Yeah, exactly. This is legit. The young lady.
Oh!
That is sick! What?
Oh.
Dude, she's
Oh
proud,
no!
prideful. It'll take her far in life in some aspects, though, at least.
Yeah. Did she?
She's so
to be
mad.
to be fair, she beat him the frick up. Like the first time they met each other, she beat him up. Like this seems pretty reasonable response from him.
Yeah,
like,
well,
hey,
I mean, she beat him up for him doing nothing. Like,
yeah,
he just said hello.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like...
he did slap her. Well, she slapped him first, and then, yeah. Okay, yeah.
She slapped him first, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh.
Come on, just promise. Oh, this guy can use magic too? Wow.
Turning that rock to sand was freaking amazing.
That was sick. That was so smart too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, come on.
She's so dumb, dude.
He's
He's
outplaying
playing her, dude.
every turn. Amazing.
Oh,
no way.
They saw him. I'm pretty sure they saw him.
Or not, I guess.
Or are they setting up a trap right now? No, I guess not. Okay.
They certainly set it up like that, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh. Bro.
Bro, he used this plan as a setup for his own plan.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, it's so cool.
That's sick. She's promising not to shout.
Hey,
Hey, some actual change.
10 with some left over.
それは魅力的ですね。
私は散々そこの娘からひどい目に遭わされましてね。
Wow, he hates her.
ここでお嬢様を助けることでつながる展開。
金じゃデレは買えないんです。
Oh my god.
Dere?
Dere.
What is that? Dere?
Like tsundere.
Oh, like her affection?
Yeah. Oh. Oh, it exploded into dust.
That's cool. Oh, it is nuts. Oh, man.
All right. That's one way of doing it.
That's so smart, bro. Why don't other shows do that? Oh. Oh. That's sick. What? Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh. Jeez, she's
she make
fast.
it?
What the frick?
Oh, she's so cool, though. Holy frick.
She's a cat. Through and through. Oh. She smashed it. What is this?
Holy
Oh,
frick.
that was sick. Dang, all right. She's cool.
Holy
Pretty
frick.
sick.
She's absolutely freaking OP.
She got him tied up. Okay, let's go. And pulling him by the hair.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
失敗か。まあ、
No,
失敗だよな。
you succeeded, buddy.
溺れて
You made it.
ギレーヌが来なければ間違いなく死んでいた。
True.
今まで考えもしなかったが、もし次に死んだら俺はどうなるのだろう。
True. What would happen?
待ちなさい。特別にエリスって呼ぶことを許してあげるわ。特別なんだからね。ってことは、つまりオッケーってことですか？ここで働いてもいいってことですか？ありがとうございます、エリス様。様はいらないわ。エリスでいい。
All right. You won her over.
それとも家庭教師にしてから仕返しでもするつもりだろうか。
Oh boy.
True.
ひとまず今は生まれて初めての職に就けたことを喜んでおくとしよう。
First
Okay.
ever job. Episode 5, A Young Lady and Violence.
Violence. Her violence or the violence that happened to them?
All of the above, I think.
All the above, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is actually a pretty
mean-
good episode.
Yeah, I have to imagine that at some level, you know, he was talking about the fact that it was going to the ransom, I guess, was going to pay, maybe not ransom, or someone was going to pay for kidnapping her. And him considering like, oh, well, I don't know how much she knows about him wanting to go to magical university, but you know, he talked about it at least in that moment. So she has to at least acknowledge that he decided, you know, it's going to pay 10 times over what I want, but I'm still going to fight to save her. So maybe that's what it was that kind of caused her to reflect, but nice.
That, and I think just generally saving her life.
True.
She would be dead without him. She healed him in the first place. Like it's a bit of a traumatic experience, and I don't know if like obviously this is fictional and not real, but I don't know if that's the best way to teach someone. Like
Let's add another moral quandary to our anime.
Yeah, let's give this person PTSD,
Right.
so we can get them to change. But it worked at least. So all right, let's go.
So is it worth it, George? Is that the right decision then? She's an extreme little girl, so do you need extreme measures to kind of bring her in line or what?
I mean, extreme is relative. This is like way beyond like regular teaching and disciplining techniques.
Right.
This is like
yeah, no kidding.
so far beyond. But yeah, I mean, like it worked for the show, so worked for her, I guess.
Very good.
I was gonna say, I imagine he must feel some sense of pride that this is like his first ever job, and he like landed it successfully, and he tried. It's good for him, I guess.
It does have a bit of a double meaning, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
and like I said before too, that I hope at some point, because until now, and I don't exactly know what the difference is right now, but like until now, this world didn't feel quite as real, I guess. And so I was like kind of hoping and holding out for the possibility that he would wake up in his real life. And still, if that happened, I wouldn't necessarily be bothered by it. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm wanting that less and less. Like his life here is starting to feel more real and more like a proper do-over, as opposed to maybe some sort of like purgatory in which he could like learn how to be a more fulfilled person, right?
So he can go back and kind of...
So he can go back, yeah, and then actually take advantage of the personal growth he took here and then actually apply it in real life. But
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what it was about this episode that got me over that hump a little bit. And now I'm like, okay, no, if that never happens, I'm totally okay with it. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what caused that change. But something has changed in my perception of Rudy. Maybe it's because he himself is able to tie all this character growth back to his old life. And so he's not being compelled or forced to like make use of these new skills and stuff.
It's not like clearly a trial set up to have him go through steps to have him fix his old life. He's utilizing his new life to himself fix the things that he didn't do in his old life, right? It doesn't seem like it's a manufactured thing for him to do that, but he's taking the initiative to do it.
And he's healing himself, and he's likening his improvements here to his old life. And so maybe that's why. Maybe it's the fact that he's not being compelled to grow. He's like growing himself. And then he's realizing like how,
So he's basically not like, well, I have to make up for the things in my life that happened previously. He's instead looking at it from the progression of, I'm making these improvements in this life, and then he's reflecting upon the fact of,
yes,
this is my first job. Actually, it wasn't I didn't have a job in my old life, so I must get a job in this life. It's the opposite. It's I'm getting a job in this life. Oh yeah, I also didn't. This is my first job.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, his life is, and I mean, realistically, that's the way anyone would see it. It's one continuum, right? It's not, this is the life in that world, and this is the life in this world. It's more so like, this is my life. This whole thing encompasses my life. So yeah, no, good for him.
Yeah,
it was good stuff.
Yeah, I like that. Switching gears a little bit, I really like that the melee like warrior types are able to be really strong, even in the face of like magic being so crazy, like summoning hurricanes, doing all this like crazy stuff. Like warriors just can still go toe to toe. It's not just like, oh, I'm really good at slashing a sword. It's like there's techniques and there's abilities and stuff more than just like, just generic swordmanship.
I wonder if there's any mana involved in some like fantasy stories, like warriors and stuff. They don't necessarily do magic per se in the classical sense, but they still make use of mana to like enhance their weapons and their own physical feats and stuff. So I wonder if it's that, or if it really is just like techniques and stuff, which would be fine too. But
right,
but yeah, the shattering the sword was really sick, and then that like prism rainbow look, and then all the color came flooding in. Like she traveled faster than color, faster than light. That was sick, dude. That was pretty freaking good.
Yeah, she's clearly like crazy busted. It makes me really want to know like what the backstory is between like the three characters, Zenith, Paul, and what was her name? Do you remember what her name is?
Ghislaine or something.
Ghislaine, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'd love to know what the backstory is of like their adventures, or like what the deal is, why they're so strong, and if they did anything cool or important, or if they're just kind of like really strong adventurers that never retired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it seems like her, like Ghislaine needs to chill out, because it seems like her temperament is having an influence on. They literally just said her name. Eris. Yeah. Eris. Yeah. It seems like she's having an influence on Eris's temperament as well, I think. Because they showed her being so volatile when he was reading the letter. And now Eris is the exact same way. Like, it's got to be that she's being influenced by her.
Yeah, absolutely a factor, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it's... if this is how they're making like cat people in this, or if it's just Ghislaine herself is just got anger management issues.
She does have meat for brains.
Yes, yeah, clearly.
That was so funny. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's shaping up really good. At this point, when I watched it the first time many years ago, at this point, I was really into it. I was like, okay, there's been some freaking weird, goofy stuff up until now, but how do you feel that the series is going so far? Right, it's been bumpy, to say the least.
Yeah, but this is just a regular episode. Like, I mean, there was violence towards the kids, which was like really brutal and stuff. But that's like brutal. That feels like
authentic.
Not authentic, but it's just like regular run of the mill violence,
brutalizing children, run-of-the-mill violence.
I mean, like in today's day and age, dude. Like, yes, unfortunately, but yeah. Like, so it just feels like run-of-the-mill stuff. It's nothing like weird. Like, freaking the first sentence out of your mouth after you've been born is like, "Oh man, look at my mom's boobs," So,
all right, yeah, fair enough.
Compared to that, this is just like
it's an improvement.
Like yeah, like, I mean, no one enjoys brutalizing children, but it was, it was a good episode. Good stuff. I'm liking Rudy more and more. Like, his redeemable qualities are, like, as the series progresses, they're showcasing themselves even more, which also makes me wonder, and I feel like they'll address it, but like, yeah, I get he was bullied. And I get like all those things. But what exactly was it that forced him into being a recluse? Because here he's showing courage and bravery, and he's smart and all that stuff. And so he's overcoming all these things that for anyone else would, like, petrify them. And like, yes, he is very good. He's very gifted and skilled in magic and all that stuff. So I'm sure that gives him some level of confidence. But yeah, I'm just curious, is like, what was the tipping point where he's like, you know what? I'm going to lock myself away, and all the courage that seems to be innate in Rudy just didn't show up. He just never made use of it, and he was never able to overcome.
I'm sure the physicality of it is certainly a part. I mean, he was very different physically, a different person, quite a bit than he is now. And that certainly adds to someone's confidence levels. Another thing is, like, he went through not just like bullying, but like he went through like traumatic bullying.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Like, what they did to him was freaking.
I'm sure it isn't like a single event. It's like a combination, and a culmination of all bunch of stuff. But I'd like, even though in his mind and emotionally, it's like a whole mountain of things, there was one incident where he's just like, you know what? I'm not coming out. Was it literally just he closed himself one day and then just never came out? Or was it, something more specific and stuff? And
it seemed
I'm
like
curious
he was,
if they'll address it.
Yeah, it seemed like he was enabled in a sense. He did say that he never had to worry about money, despite the fact that he, didn't do anything but play video games. So
yeah. Well, we'll see. I sense a romance will brew in these next 5 years with him and Eris. And so there's going to be some sort of love triangle going on with what's her name? Sylphiette?
Sylphie?
Something like that? Sylphie, yeah.
Sylphiette, yeah.
Sylphiette and Eris and Rudy.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Do you think, there's obviously some reservations about Rudy and his character, about him being him being a pervert, him, being young and liking girls his age, which like adds this very strange, odd dynamic to the whole thing. But do you think there'll ever come a point in the story where you really like Rudy as a character and like those things more or less go away? Or do you feel like you do like him as a character now despite those things? Like, how do you feel about his character?
Yeah, like, do I like his character or do I like him as a character?
Yes.
Because I like him as a character. I like him as a character. I think he's a very good protagonist for the show. And it's a good, he's a good medium with which to showcase what the show is trying to show. His character, I mean, I gotta admit, it's commendable the progress that he's making. Like, he's becoming a better person. He's still pervy. This dude just he needs to find himself a woman and cool off.
Bro, he's 7.
Well, I know he's 7, like physically. I'm talking mentally. That's the other thing too, though. Like, technically speaking, a lot of that is hormonal. Right? Like, a lot of the your desires and stuff are hormonal. They're not mental only. Yes,
sure.
There is a mental element to it, I'm sure. But so I guess it is affecting him just the same because he had the whole freaking holy relic. Freaking what's their face's panties and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, what's the implication of going from being this horny, perverted guy but then taking that mind and putting it in a body that lacks more or less a bunch of testosterone, right? Like, we can't properly quantify exactly how that would affect someone and their perceptions and the way that they act, right?
Yeah, it's it seems like they're kind of not dealing with it too much. They're just kind of letting you fill in the gaps yourself. Yeah, it's just there, and it is a thing that exists.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how he develops and how our opinion and your opinion on it just kind of changes over time, if it does. So
yeah, I like seeing him grow. I like seeing characters grow in stories. It's like one of the best parts of stories. One of my favorite things is like right at the beginning where like the hero has he's accepted the call to adventure. And so, but he isn't like full grown. It's like,
lots of flaws,
but he's like, he started on the path and he's like, usually in a lot of stories, he's like learning his powers and like all this stuff. As much as because I also like the moment where he's like towards the end of the adventure and he's like incredibly OP and it's just like, walking through, fields of enemies, wrecking shop. But yeah, there's something special about the very beginning when the hero is just coming to terms with who he is, his destiny, and his skills. And so you're seeing the budding potential and all that stuff. And so I don't know, I like that. So I like this phase of Rudy right now. It seems like he also realized he needs to learn sword techniques and stuff.
Right.
He can't rely on just magic alone. So it'll be cool to see if he's able to harness that and get good at that as well.
So you don't think he's a horrible, awful, reprehensible character that is not to be liked?
No, I don't think he's
necessarily.
irredeemable. No.
Okay.
He's
Even
he's
despite
showing
the fact
himself
that
to be
he
very
like-
redeemable.
Sure. Even despite the fact that he likes a bunch of little girls.
So like
the
that
reason
part's
I-
weird. So
right. The reason I say that is because this is one of the biggest sticking points for him as a character, right? This is why there's a lot of dialogue about this aspect of his character, if it's even like should be a thing that's included in the show, or if you can even like this character because of those aspects, right? There's a lot of like division on that kind of thing. Like, can you even like the character? Can you even like the show? To what level? You know, right? You see how it kind of becomes complicated?
Yeah. Yeah. So, the crazy thing is that like he is becoming, to me, more believable as a 7-year-old at like right now at the end of episode 7 than he ever was. But he's not 7, right? He's like 30 something. And then there's also the element. So like there's a bunch of stuff, and I don't know what my answer is quite yet. I'm finding it out as I speak. But so there's the element of the fact that he's like more believable now than he ever was as like a legit 7-year-old. There's also the fact that he's actually not 7. There's also the fact that no other sexual partners are available to him. And I know, you know, it's weird talking about 7-year-olds like as sexual partners, right? But you get the idea that I'm trying to put across.
Yeah, we
which is
understand
like
the dynamic.
Yeah, like there's no one else available to him except, you know, a plus or minus 2-year range for him, right? Like maybe, well, I guess like as a 7-year-old, you can start, you know, it's nothing weird if he likes, you know, like a 12-year-old or even like a 15-year-old. He has a crush. And it's like whatever. But like no 20-year-old girl or like closer to his age, let's say, no 30-year-old is gonna look at a 7-year-old and be like, "Yes, I want to court you. I want you to court me. Let's go out on a date." Right? It just doesn't happen.
But it seems like you're running under the assumption that he has to be looking for that sexual partner.
Well, no, it's not that he has to be looking for it. It's that fact that the show has shown it already that is like a desire of his. Like obviously like he has many motivations. Like one of them is like learning magic and all that stuff. And swordsmanship and all that. But the show's been very clear. Like this is something he wants, right?
True.
So as to what's available to him, you know, that's the kind of the third element is there's a limit as to who is available to him. And women closer to his age range, it's a non-starter, right? If there was, there'd be something wrong with her, right?
Right.
So like it's
right.
a non-thing. So there's also that element. There was one other one too that I was gonna say, but I forget now.
So is he in a lose-lose? He's essentially in a lose-lose scenario right now at this point, right? Like he can't like the girls his biological age, but he also can't like the girls his mental age.
Yes. Yeah. And he's in a lose-lose scenario from him, but externally, other people looking at him, girls closer to his age range, you know, might start having a crush on him, whereas older women are never gonna like frickin', you know, entertain the thought. So it's like, what does he do, right? Like, he's 7, so this is not even like necessarily a thing he needs, like physically. It's a thing he wants mentally, right? Which is weird because he is 30 freaking 4.
Right. Or 37 if he died.
I guess
exactly
he's been increased. Yeah, true. So he's like almost in his 40s, right? So it's like even in his 30s, 40s, 30s, at this point, it doesn't really matter. They're like 7-year-old girls.
True. Yeah, it's a weird, complicated scenario, right? It's so bizarre because that's true what you're saying, right? It's like, oh, he's almost in his 40s. It's like, yeah, but then at the same time, like, I think in some aspects he is younger than he actually is because he was stunted as a child from the bullying and as an adult from being a recluse. So in some ways, I mean, it's just not to like give him a pass, but in some ways he is like a child, right? Like he's acted, we've seen that, right? We've seen in the show sometimes he's like outdoing his dad, and then in other ways his dad's like, okay, like what's wrong with this kid? Like he's so smart in this way, but so dumb in other ways, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, as you're almost in your 40s, but like stunted in some ways, but also physically 7, like holy frick, what a predicament, right? Like how do you parse that kind of character? It sounds like one of the most difficult characters you could possibly frickin' write, because like how could you even fathom, like you'd have to do a lot of brainstorming of how you, like each step of the character progression works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It is really hard to write. It's a weird dynamic, and we've talked about this before, but it's something that can only exist in fiction. This is not ever something that would exist in real life, right? And so, I remembered actually the fourth thing I was gonna say. The other thing too is I think right now the way we have it as a society is the right way to go, like morally. But back then, I'm assuming this is like medieval ages. Like we're watching Apothecary Diaries, and like the Chinese emperors, if they wanted someone on the younger side, they got someone on the younger side, dude. The Greeks, if they wanted young boys, they would get young boys. So like, so societally too, it's like, how are they going to bring that element into the whole thing of, like what age range is appropriate, you know, for
hopefully they don't bring that in, but
hopefully they don't, right? And hopefully they stick to like, you know, modern societal standards, which again, I think is right. Like, yeah, there is like, what's really the difference? You know, it's, you know, let's say your birthday is on, you know, the 31st of October, and you're 17 on the 31st of October, you know, 11:59, and then you're 18 on the 1st of November, you know, 1 a.m., right? Like, it's like, there's like differences like that. But I do believe that we need to set a limit at some point in which we all collectively accept this person as an adult, even though mentally they more likely aren't. And that's why it gets weird, where it's like, you know, here's a 50-year-old dating an 18-year-old. It's like, okay, it's legal under the law because everyone just arbitrarily agreed 18 is when this person's allowed to make their own decisions, but it's still freaking weird, right? It's like, you know, what's the difference? They're still a child just because they have a number, you know, on the thing. Like, you know, in many ways they're still a child. Like right now at 33, there's many ways where I'm like still a child. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I don't know.
I wasn't a man until I grew my beard out just a couple months ago.
Yeah, so it's been like it's an interesting thing, right? And so
that's true. It goes into mental acuity of like someone who's 17 might be more mature than someone who's 18 and make better decisions. Not that we shouldn't have the cutoff at 18, right? Or in Canada it's 16, or in most of the United States it's 16. But regardless, like the idea is that, you know, your age is a good, like, solid delineating factor, but it's not necessarily the whole story. And then it just becomes more complex when you think about how Rudy is like, okay, well, he's well above that in one aspect and well below it in another. So yeah, anyways, it's a really interesting kind of
it's weird
quandary, you could say.
It's weird. Yeah. So I don't know. It's the show puts forth a lot of interesting questions, and a lot of interesting things to think about. I'm just glad I live in reality and I live in the world I do, and this is never going to be a worry for me.
No, I can't go Isekai world through Truck-kun. No,
oh my gosh.
Frack.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with the world I live in. Well, it's got its problems, right? But
that makes, well, at least that makes one of us, George.
Oh my gosh.
Where are the cat women, George?
Oh, thank freaking goodness none of those exist, man. Seeing the freaking nose on one of them, one of the servants, It's like just like a cat nose, dude. Like what? How? Why?
Could we get some dislikes on this video, please? Can we get some dislikes, please?
Yeah, I don't want to make this reaction video be like 5 hours long, but like, what is it about that freaking nose that you like, man? It's
about the bunny girl?
I don't know if it was a bunny or a cat girl, but they had like the freaking animal nose. It wasn't like a nose with like human features and shapes. It was like
there was someone at some point. I do remember.
Yeah. Okay. It was that one lane. Yeah. Right there on the right there. Like if you press play and you zoom in a little bit, it shows a closer. I think.
I could have sworn it showed the other character. There we go.
Yeah. Like look at that. Okay. The bunny girl's got regular nose. The other two, like what the frick? That's a dog.
Yeah, we got a
seriously. Seriously,
don't look at me
bro?
and say seriously. Don't freaking put that on me.
Hey, you're the one that's into this, all right?
Hold the freaking phone. Hold the freaking phone. Okay, first of all, I'm not a huge fan of the freaking animal noses myself. Okay? So
okay.
Don't
so
put that.
There's a limit to
the
number of animal parts. Okay.
Of course there's a limit, bro. What do you mean
all right.
there's a limit? Right. Yeah, so I'm not really a big fan of that. The ears, we're all the way in the ears, though. That's no problem. That's absolutely fantastic. No worries. There is a case to be made sometimes for bunny girl kind of facial, but it's got to be subtle, right? It's got to be subtle. But other than that, you know.
They got to subtly look like an animal. Got it.
That's right. That's what the freaking ears and the tail is, okay?
All right.
What can I say? What can I say? This is a great panel to end on. This is the best part of the show so far. The animal girl hybrids. George hates everything about this.
You stick with the hybrids, bro.
All right, George, take us away on that happy note.
Yes, I am 2 degrees removed from this because not only is it an animal, not only is it 2D, it's an animal. Okay? Like
it's not an animal. Hold on. You can't. Okay, first of all, let's just from an intellectual honesty perspective, you can't call them an animal. Just straight up. They're more people.
Well, not animal, hybrid. Sorry, hybrid is the term.
Because they're more person than they are animal. Yeah. So we can't call them an animal.
Yeah,
in fact, if you called them anything, you would have to use that same logic and call them a human with some animal features.
Yeah, they're a hybrid. I'll give you hybrid.
Okay.
We can meet in the middle and call it hybrid. So yeah, not only is it a 2D character, and we've had this discussion before, right? Like the freaking 2D versus 3D. It's not been at length, but it's something that's been mentioned. And I mean, I won't deny that there's attractive 2D art, but between 2D and 3D, man, 3D all the way.
Actually, George, all 2D art is attractive.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, between the two, like 3D all the freaking way, because it's like actually real. But then 2, it's even further removed from an actual human because you got animal parts attached to it.
Right, it makes it better.
Okay, we'll just never see eye to eye on this, and that's fine.
That's a fact. It'll be the everlasting freaking legacy of this channel will be our disagreement on animal girls, and that's what will help us maintain our Weeb Normie status. So it's good.
Sure. Yeah. Very good. One of these days, one of our videos will just be debating.
You know what series
or no hybrid?
You know what series that will be?
Oh no, not Necopara, dude.
You know it's going to be Necopara. 10,000 subscribers. If we get 10,000 subscribers, we're going to watch Necopara. We're going to make George watch the whole thing. It's going to be the best thing ever. I love this show, and George is going to love it too. Like, comment, subscribe.
Okay. Well, with that sad, pending, ominous future looming over me, I will ask you guys to check out our Patreon and our channel membership if you want to see this show and all our other stuff 2 weeks ahead of time. But with that, we'll see you guys next time.
Everybody.
Take care.